Hey everybody, this is Callie. Thanks so much for being here with me today. I'm creating a mini Slimline Dandy Day card. The Dandy Day set also has a little mini flip-flop set, and I've also used an image from that set as well. So to get started here, we're going to be stamping the images of both sets that I just mentioned, and I'll be duplicating a few of the dandelion stems as well as those leaf bases, and we'll be coloring all of those very simply, very quickly. The mice are gray, the dandelions are yellow and green, so not a whole lot to explain here. I'm going to speed the coloring up just a tad, but you'll see the point here. I used W4 first for the darkest color, just highlighting the darkest areas where I want my shading to be, and then I blend that out just a tad with the W2, and then I'll fill in the rest of their bodies with the lightest shade in W0. I like to keep my darker shades to a minimum and then fill in the rest with a lighter color. I feel like that gives the shading a bit more intensity and you can see it a lot better. Coloring is definitely a personal art, and so everyone does it a little bit differently. I just wanted to share my process with you. For the greens, I'm just using two shades. I am coloring the darkest color at the base of the stems and leaves and then filling it in with the lighter green. And then for the dandelions, I'm using a little bit of a brown to mix in with the yellow. I feel like that gives it a bit more contrast than any darker yellow can. And then I'll finish up here by dotting their little cheeks with an R30 marker. Now to give my dandelion images more interest after die cutting all of them, I am using some glossy accents here, any glue or adhesive that dries clear to act as a vehicle for my Prismaglitter to stick to. You can add the adhesive however you like. I'm stemming from the center and just streaking out as the dandelions are spreading from the seed head. For now, our images are ready to go. I'm just going to work on our background panel now. I've got the new large mini Slimline Stackables die here, and I'm going to use the largest die. It's 3 inches by 6 inches and is perfect for a matting on a 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 card base. And I'll first ink blend my background here with peacock feathers, and I'm using the cloud stencil to go ahead and add some color all the way down the panel. And I'm using a very light hand going in circular motions clockwise and counterclockwise to get a really good soft even blend. When I'm blending clouds, I always like to blend the top and the bottom once I'm done stenciling because I feel like it never just stays white, right? You want to project that color from the top and bottom. Okay, so once our stenciling is done, I'm going to go ahead and die cut that large mini Slimline stackable die into that. It just creates a nice stitched outline for our mini Slimline card. I'm going to die cut a grassy border here with some cilantro cardstock, and as well as some puffy cloud borders using some white cardstock to create my scene from the top and bottom. I die cut 2 cloud panels and 1 grassy panel, but I will die cut a second grassy panel later on to kind of match the dimension top and bottom. I used the same large mini Slimline Stackables die to make a seamless stitching all the way around the card, and that just keeps our card more cohesive. Once I've die cut those stitched sides onto these panels, I'm just going to go ahead and attach them to my card. For the bottommost layers, I'm going to attach with liquid adhesive, and then for the topmost layer, I'm going to attach it with foam adhesive to give it more dimension. So I've done that with the clouds, and then I'll repeat that with the grassy border. Again, I started off with 1 grassy border, which I'll attach with foam adhesive now, and then I decided that I wanted a second layer underneath this layer as well to kind of increase the height of the landscape, but also because we have lots of canvas area to work with between the clouds and the grass, I wanted to give that a bit more height. That way I can fill my scene in a bit better, since we have lots of dandelions and mice. The background is all created, so now I'm just going to work on filling in all of that space with my little scene. I'm using just a dab of glue here to attach these half-blown seed heads to the mice that are blowing. I'm going to leave those alone to dry so that they can secure themselves as I, at random, start attaching seed heads and dandelions to my card to fill in that bottom scenery. So I've attached everything, and I'll also match the height with some foam adhesive if I have to. Basically, anything that is attached to the top layer that is attached down with foam adhesive is also going to get foam adhesive just to match that height. So once I'm done with all of those images, I'm going to go ahead and attach my mice. So I'm just playing with the arrangement here. Before I adhere my final images, I just want to make sure that there is plenty of room for a sentiment before I adhere those final images down. I have a floating little dandelion here that I'm just going to stick right in the center of that open space, and then I'll adhere the rest of my mice, and then finally that mouse that is floating at the top with the seed head. I am just adding some foam adhesive to the bottom of the mouse, and then that seed head is just going to get liquid glue because that's going to adhere directly to the cloud that is already attached with some foam adhesive. For the sentiment, I am simply embossing in white over black cardstock. So I've prepared my cardstock with some anti-static powder tool. I'll sprinkle on my white embossing powder after stamping it with a clear Versamark ink, and now I'll heat set that. Because my anti-static powder tool leaves a white clay residue, I'm just going to wipe that away with my microfiber cloth, and that'll clean up my cardstock before I trim it down and get it ready to adhere over my card. I've added some black foam adhesive to the back of my sentiment strip, and I'm using my T-ruler to help me line up that sentiment strip to make sure that it lines up perfectly. Last but not least, I created a card base that is a 1/4 inch bigger than my panel. That way it has an 1/8 inch mat all the way around. And I'm attaching that to my card base with some liquid adhesive. That way I can have some wiggle room and make sure that it's centered perfectly as it dries. That wraps up my card for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. All the supplies and tools that I use will be linked below for your convenience. I'm also going to link 2 more videos here if you're interested in seeing more. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye!